smooth at that. I drank half a bottle on Friday during stream and the other half of the bottle on Saturday. Alright, and we are live. So greetings and salutations, people of the internet, and welcome to the bar. I am Sippy, your humble bartender and entertainer for the afternoon, morning, whatever it is for you. And I had some concern about my sound levels there for a minute. That's why you might have heard the background. But anyway, welcome to this week's What's on Tap. We are a little bit overdue. We missed last week's What's on Tap, so we actually have 2 weeks of stuff to review. What's on Tap is our weekly review, normally weekly review, of what games we've been playing, what tasty adult beverages we've been sipping on, and what juices we've been vaping on, and what you guys have to look forward for the week to come. So let's get right into it and start talking about games. Now, for the past 2 weeks, our primary game has continued to be Breath of the Wild. Goddamn Breath of the Wild. I love this game. I'm over 80 hours into it now, and I'm still finding new stuff to enjoy, new stuff to love. So, going back 2 weeks, the things that we've done so far, we found a dragon. Now, this dragon right here was corrupted, and we had to free the dragon from its corruption, which, that was fun. Got knocked around a little bit, dancing around on the freaking pillars of ice, while at the same time trying to shoot off the gross corrupted eyeballs off this dragon. So there's that. Additionally, we've been doing shrines. We've been doing shrines. We were actually down to our final 2 shrines in the game. Both of which require me to do some dragon hunting because I have to sacrifice a dragon scale or something in order to get to the last 2 shrines that we have. But we've also we did like a power run of every other shrine that was a major test of strength, and we did it all in one night, which was freaking awesome. I don't know why I was so nervous, but I've discovered a perfect way for me to approach those things, and it worked out really well. Additionally, last week, we continued our story forward and finally took down Thunderblight Ganon. We have now conquered every single one of the Divine Beasts. So, right now, all you have to do is clean up, and the rest of the game, finish out shrines, maybe find some more Korok seeds, do the DLC stuff, and then I want to finish as much as I can before we finally take on Ganon. So that's what's been going on with Breath of the Wild. We've got our shrines. Thunderblight Ganon, we already talked about that. Moving on to our First Drink Fridays. Now, we had 2 First Drink Fridays. We had last week and 2 days ago. Last week we had 2 games that we played. We first tried out Prismata. Now, Prismata, it tried to combine strategic gameplay and card games at the same time. It was kind of enjoyable. I could see myself playing a lot of this, just not streaming a lot of this, in that effort to get better and better and better. I don't think that it's going to have quite the same draw as other card games, but it was still an enjoyable game to play and waste some time in. Additionally, last week we had Air Memories of Old. Now this was a puzzle game that had a huge portion of exploring that needed to be done. The controls were really, really smooth. The story was, it was there. The puzzles were not super mind-bendingly difficult. The art style was really the thing that got me for this. I think the art style just looks amazing. You can turn into a bird when you're outside, but when you're not outside, you have a much more limited amount of things that you can do. But it was good. It was short, but there's a lot of other stuff that goes into more of the story, but you just have to explore more to find it. I knocked it out in, I want to say, like 2.5, maybe 3 hours. But you could spend probably up to like 6 to 8 hours in this one just trying to find all of the hidden stuff to expand on this story. Now this week, on Friday the 13th, we tried out Friday the 13th, The Killer Puzzle. Now, if you remember 2 weeks ago, for What's on Tap, I complained about one of the games because it was a mobile port. Well, Friday the 13th Killer Puzzle released.
See how they run at the
PC
sight of blood?
Kill them, Jason. Do it at the same time. And frankly,
Okay, Bob.
this is how you do
I don't
a
know,
mobile
Bob.
port.
The port is really scary.
So that it's almost seamless, the difference, or you just have a game that it doesn't matter if you're playing it on mobile or you're playing it on PC. Either way, it's going to be
good. I lined that up
fun,
just
and
perfect.
the controls are going to work with whatever
And
system
Killzone!
you're playing on. Friday the 13th, The Killer Puzzle also has an amazing price point of being free. So you can go ahead and try that one out on mobile and on PC for the low price of absolutely nothing. There are bonus levels that you can purchase, but it's not a requirement to still be able to enjoy the game itself. Also, the other day we tried Atavile, I really don't know how I'm supposed to be pronouncing this thing, but this was a first-person puzzler game.
Dark blue.
And it had
ran out of fucking.
themes
No, I didn't.
for the 4 main areas.
Holy shit, no, I didn't.
And each one of the themed areas had a different, main kind of puzzle. The starting area was focused mostly on light puzzles. The second area was a lot of movement-based puzzles. I gotta be honest, I can't really suggest this one. While I like the idea, and the big idea behind this one is you don't have to do all the puzzles. You can run from beginning to end.
I'm gonna take that.
You don't have to do anything. You're not being held back by any kind of narrative. It's just, here's some puzzles, do the puzzles, get the things, or don't. It's cool. But the puzzles just, they don't have that right kind of polish on them. Like the first area with the light puzzles, it's really difficult to control the things that you're trying to angle around and move to make the light bounce in the ways that you want to make the light bounce and move. The second area with the movement stuff, like you're really looking for precise movements, and it kind of didn't do that very well. The third area was more abstract, and it was a lot of visual puzzles, which was those were really fun. And the fourth area was kind of forgettable, to be completely honest. And that was like, if you got X number of things, then you got another thing. So if you completed the puzzles beforehand, you can complete these puzzles now. But that does it for the games that we played solo. Additionally, both this week, last week, and the week before, Sippy and Dom have been continuing to play Brawlhalla. And we're actually getting kind of good in it. So Brawlhalla, if you are unfamiliar, is a free-to-play brawler, much in the same vein as, or very similar to games like Super Smash Bros. No, you don't. The free portion, you have a more limited roster of characters that you can play as.
Drop my weapon.
But it's really fun. Dom and I have somehow gone from being terrible to being halfway decent. I wouldn't say that we're good, but we're at least decent, and we're improving steadily every single time that we play. I still enjoy it. Dom still enjoys it. I would highly suggest checking it out. It's a free game, the base level, and then you can open things up by paying more. You can get the entire roster. There's a pay system, but all that is really for skins. So it's not a pay-to-win kind of thing. It's just a pay for a larger roster or pay for decking out your characters in special ways. So that's going to do it for the games, but let's take a look at, before we move on to Tasty Adult Beverage and Vape, let's take a look at what our clip of the past 2 weeks has been. So I actually did take a look at all of our clips for the past 2 weeks, and this was what I had decided on for last week's What's on Tap, had we actually had time to do it. And I still think that it's the best one that we had for the past 2 weeks, so let's check it out.
Work with me, baby. Oh, God. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Nothing like a little Kool-Aid man breaking into this stream to make us all get a giggle. Now, let's move on to tasty adult beverages. For the past 2 weeks, it's been a kind of wide swath of the beers that we've been drinking. So last week, well, I should say 2 weeks ago, we had another one from Magic Hat called Blind Faith. And then we also had a one from Service Brewing Company, the Special Brewers Release Quad. So Blind Faith was pretty good. It wasn't too hoppy, it wasn't too heavy. It was actually fairly light for being an IPA. But the problem with being too light as an IPA is it doesn't have really what I could consider a very distinct and memorable taste to it. This one, I think, falls in line with my opinion of another one from Magic Hat number 9, which happens to be my favorite by Magic Hat, in that this is a good relaxation drink, but it's not one that you're gonna, like, tell everybody about. Well, no, I tell everybody about Magic Hat number 9, because Magic Hat number 9 is the one that I tell my friends who don't like IPAs, I tell them to drink number 9. This one, it would kind of be like, if we're going to go from number 9 to, like, Arrogant Bastard, this would be a solid in-betweener. The other one from 2 weeks ago was Brewers Release Quad from Service Brewing Company. This one was a quad IPA. It had a lot of fruits in it, some raisins, and I remember raisins very distinctly because that flavor came out both in the initial sip and in the aftertaste. And then you also had like this very, very heavy hoppy taste. And that shit kicked my ass. It was good, but it kicked my ass. I would highly, highly suggest that one. Now, this past week, we were supposed to be sipping on another one from Magic Hat, which was this Magic Hat Encore. However, Sippette and I took a trip to Lidl. Of all fucking places, right? Lidl, the grocery store, super cheapy grocery store that's in the US, but is like mainly out of Europe. And we got I got some of their super cheapy brews. First one that I got is number 10 Imperial IPA. This one, as an Imperial IPA, is pretty good, pretty hoppy, pretty nutty, actually. It has like a very light sweetness, a very light nuttiness, and then hops. I like it. It's good. Another one that I got was their Imperial Coffee Stout. Now, I don't have that one on display up here because I actually couldn't find a picture of it, and my dumbass threw out the bottle before I had taken a picture of it. It basically tasted like if you took this one, the number 10, and took a darkly brewed cup of coffee and poured them together. Now some of you might be like, "Hey, coffee beer, that tastes gross." No, it's really good. If you like coffee and you like IPAs, you would like this coffee stout. Now the thing about it is, aside from Lidl, I don't know if these get sold anywhere else. So if you don't have a Lidl near you, or a Little, or however that's supposed to be pronounced, you can't try it. And you'll just have to go on my word for it. But if you do, for really good brews at a really reasonable price, I would highly, highly suggest checking out the collection of stuff at Lidl. Moving on, let's talk about what we've vaped over the past 2 weeks. Now, we've vaped on a grand total of 6 different things over the past 2 weeks. First, let's go into the first week of April. We vaped on, and I don't have them sitting around, we vaped on a cheesecake, a crumbleberry, and a fruity. Now, the cheesecake one was supposed to taste like strawberry cheesecake. I'm honestly looking around right now because I wanted to show off the bottles, but I think I threw all the bottles out except for one. So the first one that we vaped on was the strawberry cheesecake, which is this guy right here. Now, that strawberry cheesecake, it fell into the same problem that most pastry vapes fall into, and I'll be getting into that again. In that it tasted like mostly pastry, and then a hint, like a tiny, tiny inkling of a hint of the actual fruitiness. Now, if you're telling me, here's a strawberry cheesecake, I want strawberry cheesecake, not cheesecake strawberry. So, can't suggest it. Crumbleberry fell into a similar problem, in that it was supposed to be like a raspberry pie. Now, if you've ever had pie, raspberry pie, blueberry pie, any kind of pie, you know that it's basically the fruit and goop sandwiched in between crust. So what's the majority of that look like? Well, if it's a pie, the majority of it is the fruit and goop. So that should be your strongest flavor in a pie flavor. No. It was like pie fruit. So this fell into the same problem as the strawberry cheesecake, in that I tasted mostly pie and a tiny little aftertaste of what berry it was supposed to have as filling. And that's all I can say about it, because I couldn't even tell you what the berry was supposed to be. Now, the last one that we baked on was Too Deaf from La Fresh. And this one, I have to give myself a quick reminder, because it has been a little over a week since I baked on it. Ah, yes. This one is very fruity. It has like some melony flavors in it, some berry flavors in it, and they all layered really, really well. This was my pick of the week for last week. Had we done what's on tap last week, was the Too Deaf from La Fresh. That one was really, really good. This past week, we had 3 that we've been vaping on. First was Iramuji from Kimono Vapes. Next was Roamed from Hella Dead. And last was Platinum Chalice from, I think this is the Classics. Yeah, the Classics Vapes. The one that I have in here right now is this is Hella Dead, or the Roamers from Hella Dead. This is my pick of the week. This is blueberry pastry done right. It is mostly blueberry. Tiniest bit of pastry. It is fucking amazing. Amazing enough that I feel like I need to take another vape break for it. The Kimono from Iramuji, this one was more melony. Melony and coconutty. Pretty fucking good. Pretty good. It was supposed to be like a strawberry colada kind of thing going on. Strawberry didn't come out like a whole lot, but other fruits did, and the colada definitely came out. This was really good. It was a very refreshing vape. And then our Platinum Chalice was supposed to be like a very berry, like a little bit of kiwi-ish, and it ended up kind of tasting meh. Like, it wasn't bad. I wouldn't by any stretch of the imagination put it on the same level of some of the bad vapes that we've had, but it's forgettable if anything else. So, pick of the week is definitely the Roamers from Hella Dead. Now, that does it for everything that we've done for the past 2 weeks. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing into the week to come. First and foremost, so much more Breath of the Wild. Now, what I'm going to be doing tonight, we are going to go see movies this afternoon. It's actually why I'm doing this so early. We're going to be going to the movies, and so long as we get home in time, I will be doing more Breath of the Wild. And tonight's specific focus is supposed to be dragon hunting. We're going to hunt those dragons, we're going to finish out our last shrines, so that we can do all the shrines, have them all done, and be able to move on to what I'm really, really, really nervous, but also really, really, really excited for, which is the Sword Trials and the Champions Ballad content. Once we do the Sword Trials and the Champions Ballad content, all we have left is way more Korok seed hunting, which I'm going to try and knock that out, like, during the other stuff and also off stream. But really just Ganon. So we have, I would say, probably another week, maybe 2 weeks, until we're done with Breath of the Wild, but I could be wrong. Like, Champions Ballad could take me a lot longer than just a few days. We'll see. Stay tuned for more on that. Now, as far as First Drink Friday, 2 weeks ago I said we were going to do Titan's Quest. Last week I said to you guys on Discord, and maybe I think I also said it on Twitter, that we were going to try Titan's Quest. We have yet to try Titan's Quest. So this week the plan is maybe Titan's Quest? I don't know. I've been weighing the pros and cons of trying out Titan Quest. It's a bit of an older game. And it's just only recently been ported to consoles, and that's why it's considered new. But it's an older game. It's in the vein of, like, Diablo-style dungeon crawler. We'll see. We'll see if we do Titan's Quest. I might hop at something that I think is newer and prettier and shinier. But we'll find out. We'll find out. For Sippy and Dom's show, we're going to continue playing Brawlhalla. Now, for Brawlhalla and for Sippy and Dom's show, we might have some other stuff that we hop into. This is just kind of what we're looking at right now, and for the foreseeable future is more Brawlhalla. Like I said earlier, we're not good, but we're certainly decent. And so this might become either a regular thing or kind of like the fallback game. Between this and, like, Mario Kart, we'll have a decent library of fallback games that we can play if we don't have anything else going on. And I don't know if we have anything else going on. I know that I would love, absolutely love, to try out A Way Out with Dom. But for now, Brawlhalla is where it's at for us. Moving on to what we're going to be drinking in the week to come. So I said Encore was supposed to be the beer of this week. Since it wasn't, the beer of this week is going to be that Encore. It's another IPA, another one from Magic Hat. I sipped on one of them. I thought that it was pretty good, but I still haven't formed a real good opinion of it. So this week, come First Drink Friday, when we actually start sipping on Encore and I start thinking about how I think about it, or thinking about my feelings for the beer overall and how I want to review it, we'll have a more solid response to what is Encore in the week to come. Now, moving on to what we're going to be vaping on. So I still have my sample box that I am working through, and we have 2 that I'm planning on vaping on this week, and I thought that I set them aside. I did indeed set them aside. Now, first and foremost, we have Balthus from Cheap Suits. Now, this one, give me a second. So this is a fruity pastry one, and I can smell the pastriness, I can smell the fruit, and it actually smells like the fruit is forefront to the pastry. Whether that's fact or fiction, we'll find out when we vape it in the week to come. And the other one that I'm going to be vaping on is Candy Pop. This is a blue raspberry hard candy, is what it's supposed to taste like. And it smells exactly like blue raspberry bubble yum pops, which I have been saying for, or not bubble yum, but a bubble pop, gummy pop, Tootsie Pops with gum. The Tootsie Pops with gum. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The Tootsie Pops with gum that have blue raspberry in them. That's like my measuring stick for what a blue raspberry hard candy should taste like as a vape, is that blue raspberry lollipop. And that's exactly what it smells like, so we'll be vaping on that this week, but not until I'm done with Roamers, which I still have a good chunk left. This is full. and this is an 8-ounce tank, or 8 milliliter tank, so I still have plenty of roamers to get through. Now, that's what we have coming up for the week, but what we have coming up in the next month and a half, actually, is MomoCon. So I've talked about this at the end of every single one of my What's on Tap streams and What's on Tap videos. Is MomoCon is this awesome anime, comics, and video games, also collectible card games, convention that's happening in Atlanta. It's happening the 24th through the 28th of April. I'm going to be there. Dom's going to be there. We just recently found out that a good friend of the Talking Boxes, Madame Skelly, she's also going to be there. This year they have a whole crap ton of YouTubers there. I'm actually going to be asking the hard questions to the media manager as to when are they going to make a bigger note of Twitch streamers and getting Twitch streamers involved in MomoCon, because between last year and this year, they went from like 4 YouTubers to like 20. So maybe in the next year, they'll go from like 2 Twitch streamers involved. And I mean involved as in like announced guests, not attendees. Because Dom, myself, and now Matt and Skelly, we're attendees going as press. We're not guests of the con. So I'm gonna see about trying to get the media relations manager a pre-con interview with her and talk to her about when are they going to make a bigger point and a bigger deal out of Twitch. There's still information incoming about what games are going to be there. I know last year's the dev team for Brawlhalla was out there. The dev for Neon the Ninja was out there, which has been played here at the bar. The dev team for Guns of Icarus was out there. I do know for a fact that this year, Dream Daddy Dev is going to be out there, as well as the guys and gals who made Shovel Knight. So, really stoked. I'll keep you guys informed as I find out more devs and we figure out what the interview schedule is going to be when we actually get out there. And in regards to those interviews, I am still continuing to raise funds to help Dom and I actually make it to MomoCon. So we have our press passes, but we want to make sure that we're able to get everything done and stay out there as comfortably as possible, which is why I am going against what I normally do and actually requesting your help in regards to fundraising. And your return on that is down here. So, Dom and I had our wager. I lost the weight loss wager. I will be doing a half day at the con in women's clothing. Now, if we raise $500, of which we are a little bit closer to now, if I raise $500 towards MomoCon, I will be doing that half day in heels. If we raise $1,000 towards MomoCon, I will be doing a full day instead of a half day in ladies' clothing to include the heels. And if we raise the total amount that I'm requesting, which is at $1,500, I will be doing drag week in the week prior, and then every $100 over that, I will continue the drag week thing where I will be dressed in drag on stream. And I have said that one of the costumes that I will try to pull off is one of the great fairies from Breath of the Wild. So if you contribute, I greatly appreciate it. Dom greatly appreciates it. And regardless, we really hope that you guys tune into our interviews and stuff and give us great questions to ask those devs, because that's the whole reason we're going to be live streaming those interviews. And even better, if we actually see you out at MomoCon. Now, before we sign off, if you guys aren't already checking me out on the various social media, I have my Twitter, I have my Instagram, both are at Sippy Cup Games. I have a Discord link for those of you who are in the live chat. I just went ahead and dropped that link. For those of you who are watching this after the fact on YouTube, it's down in the description below that Discord link. Also, for those of you watching on YouTube after the fact, the donation link to try and get Sippy to make a fool of himself and get us to MomoCon is also in the description down below. For you guys watching live, it's down in the tits panel. But do check out all of my social media. Please join our Discord and hang out with us throughout the day. We have a great community going on. We provide great content as often as we possibly can. Both Dom and I work full-time jobs, and we also now have a community on Twitch. But yeah, if you yourself are also a streamer, please add Talking Boxes as one of your free communities and help us grow by getting out the good word of the Talking Boxes. We're happy to have you. Happy to see you guys on the Discord throughout the day. Happy to bullshit with you. Happy to watch your streams. And happy to be streaming and trying to keep you guys entertained as often as we can. Now that's going to do it for me for now. Alright, all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for sharing and retweeting and liking our stuff on Instagram and on Twitter and hanging out on Discord. All that great stuff. So, that's going to do it for me for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I raise my glass to you. Laters.